Hey, thanks for stopping by. My name's Thomas and this is Zarbo Audio Projects, and today we have another little preamplifier board to look at. Every 3 or 4 months or so I check out AliExpress to see what's new, and recently I saw this thing being featured by several different sellers. Let's get it out of the packaging and see what it comes with.
Bubble kind of stuff. Snip, snip. And inside we have very nice looking. Trying to get some extra light on this so you can see it, but that is, in my mind, that's nice. Yeah, it feels good. The clicks feel nice. If you can see there, this is an aluminum knob, and there's a little bit of a polished lip there that reveals the raw aluminum, and it's got a nice look to it. It's got some knurling on the knobs themselves. The buttons, they're kind of a rubbery feel, but they feel good. And it's not a brushed aluminum face, but what it is it's sort of slightly textured, but it's nice. The screw holes are inset. I think they're flush, meant to be used with a cap head screw, a flush screw, not tapered, but that's nice. And let me get you a shot of the wow, the screen. It's flush. That's slick, man. They never try this hard on any of these AliExpress things. This is really saying something. I gotta say, I'm impressed. This is really, it's kind of nice. It's very nice, actually. The feel of everything is good. Looking at this on the product page, I thought it was going to be smaller, but now I realize the reason is because the knobs are bigger. It just made the whole thing look smaller. I'm used to the knobs being tiny, but these are actually decent sized knobs. I can turn it and my fingers aren't hitting they're not hitting the unit, you know? So that's really nice. So let's take a peek at it. Take a peek at the back. Pretty clean looking. I don't really know what I'm looking at, but it looks like the thin circuit board. I mean, there isn't a lot to it circuit wise. It doesn't look like. Forgive me if I'm not getting these angles perfect. I'm using my phone to do this. The camera I just purchased isn't really doing a good job with this. So I guess these are the processing chips. I'll try to get you some close-ups. But let's get some measurements here. The width is 5 and 3/8 wide. I'll put metric equivalents because you certainly don't need picas. This is not a newspaper. Height is, I'm going to say 2 5/8, just a little bit less. And then as far as the depth goes, we're looking at 7/8 of an inch. I think if you made a little mini sub enclosure about 1 inch deep, you'd have room to get the cables on and get them snaked around. But yeah, this is kind of a quality unit here. I really like the feel of it. They did a nice job with this. So let's see what's in the other package. Okay, let's see what's in here. Let's give this a snip snip. All right, what we have is, okay, we've got the remote. It's not one of these, which uses 2 AAAs. It's one of these. Uses a card battery, but it's got a rubber buttons, and it's okay. It feels okay. It's better than those cheap membrane ones, I'll tell you that. They also include a little hardware kit, which is nice, and the Allen key. Cool. And then you've got your all your connectors to connect this. It gives you everything that you need. Maybe not everything you want, but it gives you everything you need, and I'll explain in a second. We've got a 2 lead power plug that's going to go in here. This is a 5-volt unit, so that goes in there like that. The next plug up from that, it says I2S_out. Okay, now this, I don't know what this is. This is the one that plugs into it. It's got the multi-leads, and it gives you these little pin connector thingies for connecting into, like, I don't know if they're called header pins or what, but the little wires that are not flexible, but they're like firm. You can plug in there. You guys know what that's called. I don't. But that plugs into there. And that, I think, is for the PC connection. I don't know if it's USB. I don't know. If you know anything about this, please leave a note in the comments, and that'll help everybody. This GPIO, general purpose input output. It says it's not used, so it's not used. They do give you a connector for this. This says control. If you can see, it says mute, ground, and AP_power. So testing this was the 3.2 or 3 volts or whatever it is that you got out of that, and that plugs into this here. The black and the red are what give you the 3.2 volts direct current. Dang. I don't want to come out, man. These are buggers. I'm going to break this thing trying to get this out. Wiggling helps. Okay, so that's that. But how do we get the sound out of this thing? Well, that's this one, audio out. Output right, ground, output left. So here's the plug for that. And look what they gave us on the other end. Now there's a connector there, so you can unconnect that and possibly connect that right into your amp if it uses that same fitting. But this is nice. They've got it connected to a board, and that board has a 3.5 millimeter 1/8 inch stereo jack soldered right to it, and there's 4 mounting holes, so you could fasten this wherever you needed to, the little board in your amp or whatever it is that you're building, your Bluetooth radio or table radio, and then you've got a way to get something from this out to your stereo. That's a nice touch. You're getting a lot for your money with this, I think. I mean, dang, that does not want to come out. My gosh. Criminy. But anyway, that's the hookups. And there's one more connector. If you're not looking close, you're going to miss it. And it's right there. I'll try to get you a little close-up pic. But that is for one of these things. This does not come with it. I purchased this separate, but this is for an externally mounted Bluetooth amplifier. And it's got the nuts there, so you just mount it into your chassis, and then this thing just screws on, tightens up, and then you can get your reception that way if it's in like a metal enclosure or something. But this has the tiniest little, teeny tiny little, I would call it coax. I don't know what the thing is called, but dang, it's tiny. And it just sort of presses on there. And that's how you can get Bluetooth through and back and forth out of this thing if you need to and put it in an enclosure that's going to be made of metal that's going to block the signal. But those are your hookups for this unit. Pretty nice. All right, I'm going to try to power this with a 18650 battery bank. I've been playing around with it like that for a while. It seems to work just fine. Now, did you notice that? I plugged it in and it turned on. I don't like that. When it receives power, it automatically turns on. I wish that it didn't do that, but it does. Most of these AliExpress preamplifiers do that. So let's run you through the front, through the features. When it starts up, it's on music. I do have some YouTube-friendly music on the USB drive and on a micro SD card. Those are the two types of input that land under that category of music. I'll just scroll through. You got Bluetooth as an input. You've got a line input, which is right here with this 3.5 millimeter or 1/8 inch stereo jack for us old Americans. You've got PC mode. Not sure what that is yet. You got your system settings, and then you're back to music. So let me press OK on that. Obviously, we've got a nice spectrum analyzer down there at the bottom, so it tells you the title of the song and who the artist is, if it's included. The elapsed times here, the 9 out of 21, so there's 21 songs on these discs. Both these discs are the same. It shows you which one's playing. It says TF. It's a micro SD card. You're in music mode, and then it's giving you the volume right there, a little speaker with the little loud things in the volume. You go up, it goes up. You go down, it goes down. Kind of wish that when you turn the volume up, it gave you a big number here, so you could sort of see.
just for the heck of it. I mean, in case you end up putting this in something where it's going to be far away. Up and down is this, and track left and right is this. Play and pause is this. So if you want to change the track, you go left and right with this, and then that's up and down. Now, cool thing, to fast forward, you just take this right knob, press and hold. That's kind of neat. The left knob, press and hold, and it rewinds you. So I kind of like that. Oh, I forgot to mention also that we're playing an MP3. It gives you the bit rate there. It gives you the elapsed time of the song. You also get an orange progress bar, and then you get the length of the song here. And then this is this uses the repeat button. We're on random here. If you press it, it'll repeat all of the songs on the whole disc, whatever disc is playing, or it can repeat one song, or it can repeat all that's in the specific folder that you're in. So we're in music mode, and there are several different means to get music into this. You can just press the mode button, and then it'll cycle through. It's in Bluetooth mode. You can press that button again. It'll give you the next method is line input, which uses this jack, as I said. You got PC mode, and then you're back in music mode. The other way to do it, if you press back, menu, you can go that way. You press the menu button, gets you into this mode, and then left and right will cycle you through the different ones, and you can just press OK or play to go. And there we are. And this is the mode that I'm going to use the most. I'll probably be using a little USB drive, because these little micro SD cards are kind of fragile. Although when you put them in, they don't hardly stick out, so it's almost like it's flush. These things are a little bit bigger. But anyway, you get a nice spectrum analyzer when you're in music mode, and it's fairly accurate. I'll show you. The other modes that you have are Bluetooth mode. So I'll play you a Bluetooth song, and we'll see what the screen looks like when we play that. So it does communicate back and forth from my phone to the unit, because it does tell you the title of the song. It tells you Galaxy A32 5G. That's my phone. So that's kind of neat that it does that. See if you can pause it by pressing this. It does pause on the player. It says waiting for player Y. Little typo there, I guess. But that resumes play again. So Bluetooth works pretty good. One thing to note though, when you go up and down with the volume with Bluetooth, if you see it's on 3, I don't know if you can see it. It's probably small. But the next jump up goes to 5, the next to 7. Whereas if you're not on Bluetooth mode, every jump of the volume is by 1s. So now let me show you the next mode, which is line input or auxiliary. I'll plug this into my phone. We're going to go direct into here. And as soon as you plug it in, it detects and it starts doing this. I'll press play again. We'll go back to it, press the volume up a little bit, and jack this up just a little bit to give you a little bit of a listen. Now, this is interesting. It's kind of cool that they have different ways of doing this. Anyway, when you're on line input, it gives you the spectrum analyzer down here, but since there's nothing up there no info to display, it doesn't know what's plugged into it. It could be a computer, it could be an MP3 player, a phone, whatever. It displays these like waveform outputs there for the left and right, which is kind of cool. As time travels, it goes like this, and then introduces the new stuff there, and it just sort of holds and goes across. I sort of like that. I think that's kind of cool myself. And so that's cool. Now, if you press pause on this, it just basically mutes it, because as you can see, my player's still playing. It doesn't know. It's just a 3.5 millimeter plug. So you press mute again or pause again, and it just continues to play. But that's the line in. Several different ways to do it. You could press menu button, and then you can scroll through the different settings that way as well. Now I'll stop the music, and then we'll go into PC mode. Now PC mode, got to talk to you about that. Basically, because I don't know what it does. We've got a little graphic here of what looks like a USB hub, and then a little computer, and then there's an X. There's no connection. It says USB disconnection. I don't really know what that is for. If you have any idea what that is supposed to be connected to, please leave a note in the comments. I purchased one of these USB things that you can plug a USB into, and then get some pins connected to it so I can maybe try it out, but I don't know if I'm going to have any success or not. So if you know what that is for, please let me know. I'd love to know. I showed you music, I showed you Bluetooth, I showed you line input, I showed you PC mode. So now let's go to the system settings. So you got your backlight time. Click that. It's I've got it set to always on because I'm trying to demo this, but you can have it turn off after 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1, 3, 5, or 10 minutes. Always on is where I want it. For this anyway. Then you've got backlight brightness, which is nice. It's at 90 now. That's 100. Goes all the way down to I think 10, which is cool. I used one of these before. Not one of these, but a cheaper preamplifier, and it went all the way down to 0, and I accidentally pressed it. And then I absolutely had no screen visualization whatsoever to see how to get back into it to get the brightness up, which was kind of a mess. This thing times out after a few seconds, and then so you gotta kind of work fast. But I'll turn that back up to 90. Go back, and EQ settings, I'll get back to that, but let's go to language. English and those two, whatever the heck they are. Well, I'm sticking with English because my Mandarin's really rusty. Version tells you the version, hardware version, software version, vendor code. That's neat. That doesn't help me any, but it probably helps them track who AliExpress sold this to an individual vendor to know, what's working, what isn't working. That thing really goes back fast, doesn't it? So that's version, and it tells you the date. It's just like January 10th, 2025. That's kind of neat. Not that I care, and then quit. So that gets you out of there. But let's go back to this one, EQ settings. Well, first of all, let me back up, put some music on, and then we'll go back to settings because it'll play while I can mess with it. Show you the EQ settings. Look at this. This is my custom EQ setting. It's 10 bands. It starts with a low of 62 hertz, 125, all the way up to 12, and then 16K. And then this last one is a gain setting. So that is just super cool. I've never seen that on any of these preamplifiers before. I've seen different, EQ settings, but not with the graphic representation such as this. 10-band graphic equalizer, plus or minus 15 decibels is pretty cool. So that's normal. That's flat. That's the normal setting. That's what you want to leave it at, unless you want to make your own up. And it does have one user adjustable. This is rock. That's awful. This is pop. That's almost usable, but it's a little too boosted on the low end, I think. This is classical. That's bad. That's jazz. That's awful. Why would you want a hump of 4 decibels or 6 decibels at 1K? I don't know what these people are thinking. This is country. That's a mess too. This is bass. That's a mess because you have nothing but bass. I don't know what they're thinking, but this is my custom one. So it came flat when I got it. I've messed with it since. But what you do is you click on it, and you use this to make the little dot indicating where your position, up or down. You get it where you want it. You press it. And then it goes to the next column. You go up or down. Now you can hear this in real life as you're playing music, so that's kind of cool. So you do that for each of them. And you adjust each one as you go. If you don't want to adjust it, you just press it. And then you got this gain one, which is not the main volume. This is different. This allows you to match the gain of this with your amplifier that you're going to use. If you're going to use an amp with like real low gain, some of the cheaper amps, amp boards, and some even the better ones have sort of low gain setting. So you can't get the maximum power out of them unless you can have a preamp with some decent gain. So you can adjust the gain on this. I think that's really cool. I really like that. Anyway, let's go back out of that. So that's the EQ setting. So you do have some kind of cool settings, and they're easy to manipulate. You know, I just find knobs so much easier. Okay, so we're going to see if the control line coming out of the back of the preamp is going to work for powering on a remote device such as an amplifier, which of course is something you're going to need if you're hooking up to this preamp, because it's just a preamp. I have coming out of that control line, I have it connected to this solid state relay, and then from there it's going to this time delay relay board, which is also 5 volts. So I'm going to turn the preamp on, and we'll see how quickly that the light on the solid state relay lights up. So let's see. Okay, that lit up pretty much instantly, and then you heard the click there. The click is what actually turns the relay on, which is going to connect your power to your power amplifier. So that's good. It's very good that works. I'm glad. I've never been able to get this to work on any other preamp boards that I've ever used. So that means that this can be a one button solution to turn on the preamp and the amplifier, because as I turn the power button off on the preamp, this will also turn off. Great. Finally. All right, let's talk about some of the things this unit has going for it. The most important thing for a preamp is that it's clean sounding. It has knobs and a remote control that's not one of those cheap membrane types. It has beautiful build quality. This thing is gorgeous. It has a gain slider for amplifiers that have low gain. It has a spectrum analyzer, and it's fairly accurate. It has one programmable EQ setting. It's packaged pretty well. For many AliExpress items, that is not the case. Things that could be better. The unit turns on when power is applied instead of when turned on with the remote controller on the unit. It does not have an FM radio. It will not play back any video files. There's an occasional slight pop when turning on or off. The direct entry on the remote control is wonky. Pressing 05, for example, will get you song number 4, and pressing 09 will get you song number 8. At times it didn't work at all. Mounting will probably be difficult because the tolerance between the circuit board and the edge of the unit is pretty close. Most EQ settings are garbage. Why not give us maybe 2 or 3 presets and then let us program 3 or 4 for ourselves? Alright, well, I know I just listed a bunch of things that I don't particularly like about my new little friend, but believe me, this guy is pretty cool, and it has a quality feel. So, the big question is, I guess, is this preamp actually good enough to use in a home stereo setup? I think yes. And in an upcoming project, I plan to pair this with a Texas Instruments TPA 3255 300 watt per channel amplifier board that was all of like $25 from Amazon. I bought that, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. I think it's going to make a really nice sort of integrated amp receiver combo. So if you're as excited about seeing that combo come together as I am, and let's be honest, you're still here, so why wouldn't you be? Then could I ask you to please ring the bell, give me a thumbs up if you like this video. If not, I understand. But either way, that's it for this one. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.